So we have finally reached that Christmas, New Year's, winter fixture point of the year. From the 10th of December until the 17th of December, there will be 3 weeks worth of matches being played. This is week 16 of the Premier League, which is the midweek fixtures of the 10th until the 17th, as mentioned earlier. 2 matches will be played on Tuesday the 13th, and 8 matches will be played Wednesday the 14th. Starting with the first match of the midweek fixtures, it's Bournemouth versus Leicester City, which starts at 7:45 PM on Tuesday. Bournemouth's last win was from the 4-3 victory against Liverpool and has lost in 4 of the last 6 games, whereas Leicester City have an incredible result at the weekend, showing form that they haven't really shown since last season. They beat Man City 4-2. They were 3-0 up within 20 minutes of that game. Other than that result, their last victory was the 22nd of October. Both sitting bottom half of the table. I think they're 12th and 14th in the Premier League. This is a hard fixture to predict, especially the first game of this week. I can't see either teams wanting to drop points. I'm going to have to call this game a 1-1 draw. So Bournemouth 1, Leicester 1. The other Tuesday fixture is also another 7:45 kickoff game. It's Everton, who will be at home against Arsenal. Another difficult game to predict a score with. Everton has had terrible form in the last couple of weeks, and I don't think they've won a game since their victory against West Ham at the end of October, whereas Arsenal are second in the table and has only lost 1 game this season. Arsenal have a key player out in the defence, and that may affect the final score at the end of that game, but I'm going to call it a 2-1 victory to Arsenal. So 1 goal Everton, 2 to Arsenal. Moving on to the 8 fixtures on Wednesday, the next 3 games will be played at 7:45 PM. So the first game on Wednesday is the Middlesbrough versus Liverpool game. Honestly, on paper, Liverpool should win this game with ease. They're 3rd in the table, and I think Middlesbrough are 16th. Liverpool haven't won a game in 2 games now. That's 2 games in a row they haven't won from 2 teams in the bottom half of the table as well. Middlesbrough, on the other hand, have only won 3 games all season, and will be hoping for at least a draw in this game to get a point. I think the final result, or the final whistle, will be a 2-0 victory to Liverpool, although I hope that Negredo scores his 4th goal of the season. I think he's a top quality striker that should definitely be at a better team than Middlesbrough. No offence to Middlesbrough, I like the team and I like the squad. I just think he's a fantastic striker. West Ham versus Burnley, that's 17th versus 13th in the table. 2 teams, again, bottom of the half of the table. 2 teams that haven't had much luck this season, and I think West Ham have a better squad, but Burnley may be playing better this season. I think the final score of this game is probably going to be, I'm going to call it a 0-0 draw. West Ham 0, Burnley 0. 2 teams that should really be doing better this season. And the final game that starts at 7:45 on Wednesday is the Sunderland versus Chelsea match. One end of the table versus the other. 20th versus 1st. In the Premier League, Chelsea should walk all over Sunderland in this game. Honestly, it's top versus bottom. Nothing against Sunderland. Again, I think since I've been doing these prediction videos, I've been saying that they should be winning or drawing every game since I started this season. But I just don't think they're going to be able to do enough to even get a draw out of this game. Chelsea to win this game 3-1 is my final score and my final prediction for that match. The remaining 5 games that I'm going to predict now are all 8 PM kickoff games, starting with the Man City Watford game. I think Pep is finally realising how difficult the Premier League is now. If you saw his face after the 20 minutes result in the Leicester game, he looked so miserable. So yeah, I think after that really impressive start of like 10 wins out of 10 matches, I think he's now realising that they're going to struggle a little bit this season. With only 2 Premier Leagues within 2 months, City will definitely be looking for 3 points in this match. At the beginning of the season, I really thought Watford were going to be relegated, or in the relegation zone at least. A new manager and a lot of changes in the board and the team itself, but look at them now. They're 7th in the table, 9 points clear from the bottom 3. they are easily looking at a mid-table finish. Again, on paper, City should win this game, but I think the confidence in the club will be at a low, and Watford may be able to sneak a goal or two in. The final score in this game, I'm going to still say that City are going to win it, but I think it's going to be a 3-1 or 3-2 victory. If I had to say one or the other, I'd probably say 3 goals to Man City and 2 to Watford. 3-2 final score. Moving on to West Brom versus Swansea City. 10 places separate the two clubs in the Premier League. That's 8th versus 18th. West Brom have been on fire this season, and they probably have the best team that I've seen in their history since I've been watching football. You probably look at the Swansea team, and they've had one of the worst teams in the last couple of years, especially in the Premiership. They've probably got one of their worst squads in the Premier League this year. They've just been so unpredictable this season, beating Sunderland 3-0 but then losing to Tottenham 5-0, and in the game before that there was 9 goals in it against Crystal Palace. I think the final score in this game will be a 1-1 game. It will definitely be an entertaining game. I don't think Swansea will be easy against West Brom in that game. The final 3 games of this episode: Stoke versus Southampton. Only 1 point separates the two teams in this league, or in this game, who are both mid-table teams. I may be a little bit biased because I quite like Stoke, but I think Stoke will win this game 1-0. Crystal Palace versus Manchester United. Apart from drawing a few too many games, Man United's season hasn't been too bad. Honestly, I don't think they've been that bad this season. They could be a lot worse. And yes, you can nitpick about the manager and how he's been acting, and you can probably be a bit funny about the players, that they're not performing as great as they should be. But you can do that at every club, honestly. Just because they're Manchester United doesn't mean you have to pick out all the little bad things about the club. I mean, look at Crystal Palace, the team that Man United are playing. They have lost 8 games in 15 this season in the Premier League, and yes, they haven't spent stupid amount of money, and yes, they haven't got the history behind them like Manchester United have. They've got a great history behind them, but it's not on the level of United. So yeah, as a Manchester United fan, I might be trying to defend United a little bit too much then, and honestly we should be winning more games than we are. In this game, I think a 2-0 victory to United would be an ideal result. I also don't particularly rate Pardew's that much, and I don't think Palace will get a single point in this game. Moving on to the final game of this prediction video, it's Tottenham versus Hull City, or Hull Tigers, or whatever you want to call them. Tottenham versus Hull City will see up to 4 former Spurs players return to White Hart Lane. Former captain Dawson, Liverpool, Huddleston and Mason will all possibly be playing against Tottenham this week. Spurs should be looking at an easy win in this game, especially with the defeat against Manchester United at the weekend. They're definitely going to be trying to win 3 points out of this game. If Spurs can win this game by 2 goals, then they'll have a better goal difference than Man City, who are only 3 points above them in the table. Final score, I'm probably going to say 2-0, just to see what the goal difference will look like after this game. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you think the results are going to be different than what I've predicted in this video, then please leave a comment below with what you think the final scores will be. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video or any of my other content, please hit that like button, sub to me if you are new, and please leave some feedback below.